Hello, this is the Paul and Stephen podcast. Just like to say hello to everyone. Anybody who is listening for the first time, thank you for joining us. Anybody who is still listening after listening to the first one, that is quite incredible. Thank you very much. Please send your name and number and you will get a lovely prize. My name is Paul Charland. I've been in Dubai for 18 years, working in real estate, left a couple of times, and I work at Haus with an old colleague of mine, Stephen Leckie, who's going to introduce himself now.
Hello. Yes, I am Stephen Leckie, and I work at Haus with Paul, and I've been in Dubai now 20 years, since 2003, August 2003, and yeah, seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, really. That's it.
Certainly seen the ugly.
Yes.
Most mornings.
Yes.
Probably when you're having a shave.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you, Paul.
That's all right.
Good start.
You can't rewind 30 years, so.
No.
All 40.
How old are you now?
How old am I?
Yes.
40 something.
Yes.
So what we thought 40 something, yeah. I'm not very good with little numbers. What we was actually going to speak about today, which is something which I wouldn't say people avoid it, but it's apparent and it's something that should be discussed and addressed, is when is the slowdown coming, or when is the market going to stop being so busy, and
when is the bubble going to burst?
Well, there's no bubble. So
I'm just saying these are questions that people are asking.
Exactly. So I mean, I think our take on it is that, the real estate market is very busy here, but the real estate market in Dubai is like any market in the world. It could be a property market, could be a stock market. For instance, the UK property market at the moment is very slow because of interest rates, inflation. So everything sometimes is busy, sometimes it slows down. So that will happen in Dubai. But I think what we would say is that like, we don't know when it's coming. Do we think that sort of all of a sudden it will stop and prices will start coming off? No, we don't think that at all. Obviously, just because there's still a lot of people moving to Dubai. But to me, one of the things I was discussing with a friend a few days ago was that it's like in Dubai, I wouldn't say it's weekly, but monthly or every 3 monthly, it's like more news comes out. Now, this news could be directly from Dubai, it could be from the government, it could be from the land department, it could be something completely outside of Dubai, which we've got no control over. It could be anything in the world. But generally, it's positive for Dubai. It makes Dubai more attractive again. So we're not saying for 1 second there's not going to be a slowdown, because there will be at some stage. And we actually think it would be healthy for the market, because we don't want it to continue to go up the way it has. But just a couple of things which maybe people haven't realised. So I look back years ago, you can probably relate to this, Steve, is, Dubai, when it was growing, it was like, the Disneyland of the desert, or it was, well, they're just doing something and it might work, it might not.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah, build it and they will come was a very common thing that we heard and saying.
More cranes than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, so and, that wasn't actually probably being realistic. But when you look at the difference between Dubai 15 to 20 years ago, which was a bit of a pipe dream, and and it was somewhere that people came to maybe like earn lots of money tax-free for a short contract. Now I look at Dubai today, and more now it's been recognised as a major player in the world, a major city. It didn't have that before. It didn't. You couldn't compare it to Singapore or London or Hong Kong or Paris or all of these other cities.
Well, we arrived here, it was not that we were particularly, it wasn't, it probably didn't even enter our heads, but in a lot of people who were coming here back in the day, 20 years ago or so, this was a hardship posting.
Yeah.
So, banks were sending people here. They probably didn't want to be here, but they had to come here as part of their job description, diplomats, etc. I was talking to someone the other day, actually, who's a diplomat, and they were telling me that any time that a job comes up in Dubai, it's like so oversubscribed just in the diplomatic corps. And I'm sure it's the same with banking. You used to be in banking. It's the same thing. Everybody wants to come here. Anyway.
So I thought I'd give a couple of stats, which I was even surprised when I double checked these this morning. We both were actually. We had a look at them. So what we're doing is, as I said, Dubai is recognised as a major city in the world now because of where it is in the world. If you're in finance, you can speak to Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo in the morning. You can speak to Europe during the day. Then you can speak to New York in the evening. So its proximity in the world for doing business is fantastic. And as I said, it's a very, very different city to what it was 15, 20 years ago because they're doing all of these things to make it a major city. Now, I'm just going to go by prices here. As I said, this surprised us. So the top 10 cities in the world, price per square foot, is I'm just going to run through them quickly. So you've got Hong Kong's number 1, which I think most people probably would have realised. 2, Zurich, Seoul, Singapore, Geneva, Shanghai. London is 7, New York 8, Beijing 9, San Jose in California, United States is 10. And then looking down the list, and this is a long list, we've got Vancouver in Canada is 26, Toronto in Canada is 30, Seattle in the United States is 34, Auckland in New Zealand 36. I'm not going to keep on going on about this. Kuwait is 73, Mumbai is 66. Right, Dubai, believe it or not, price per square foot in the world for the major cities of the world is 173.
Shocking.
Now, I'll give you an idea. So the average price in Hong Kong, now, as I said, we're putting this all together. We know that, for instance, you shouldn't compare the Palm, say, to JBC, obviously, because they're two different places. But if you're just going to generalise about the city as a whole, Hong Kong is around 10,000 dirhams per square foot. Dubai is around 1,400 dirhams a square foot. All of London is just under 6,000 dirhams a square foot. Zurich is 8,600 dirhams a square foot.
Who's around Dubai? What other countries can we compare that with Dubai?
I don't think you can.
No, but on your list, who's you say we're 173?
Well. Kuwait's in the GCC. They're at number 73. They're 2,500 dirhams a square foot.
Wow.
Rome in Italy. That's number 58. But as I said, the important point is you've got the traditional top 10. Your Hong Kongs, your Zurichs, your Londons, New Yorks, Paris. Yeah. In the top 10, Dubai is 173 in price per square foot. So anybody who says this is overpriced or we're going through a bubble, please look at the stats. Please look at the facts. Go on Google yourselves. It's quite incredible. But I'll finish with that because I just thought that was quite a good bit of information to know. As I said, we are expecting, I want Stephen's opinion on this. There will be a slowdown at some stage. We actually, as I said, it should be good for the market in the medium to long term. What's your thoughts, Stephen?
I think there will be some kind of slowdown as the issues of demand and supply will come into play for sure, and all the developers are playing catch up in terms of demand. And I'm sure over the next 3 to 5 years we will come to a place where they may be pretty much matched. But again, that will alter fairly rapidly. If you look at the value curve or the price curve from Dubai from the start to now, it has always been in a positive trajectory. There have been times when there's been dips, some significant dips, like in 2008, but other dips have been quite gradual and small, and then they're blips, so to speak. But if you look at the whole graph, from start to finish, it is a definite increase. So if people, I've said this before on the podcast, originally when people bought into Dubai, they were looking at it very much as a short term. Now people are looking at it as a much longer term. You've already mentioned, we talked about it just now, about this is a hardship posting, people coming in for 2 years and leaving. Now people are staying for much longer. They're buying their own houses, they're taking mortgages, and they're purchasing their own house. They're not renting anymore. They may be buying investment properties to rent out, but they're definitely buying to live in, so to speak. So I think people are here for much longer. And people are not so so hung up on what's everybody asks, what's this going to be worth in 2 or 3 years' time? We can't tell them what it's going to be worth in 2 or 3 years' time, but we can tell them more or less what they're going to get in rent in terms of that. And we can say, you're going to save this much money by buying rather than renting. So those are the sort of facts that we can talk about. What's the other thing that I just thought of there while I was talking to you? Again, I've forgotten about it halfway through, which is quite normal for me.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's normal, isn't it? Yeah, because you look at me.
To be honest, you know what I did? You may be aware of this. I used to shave my hair just for the convenience of it.
That.
Yeah, now I've, by choice, which is obviously so surprisingly I did that. So now I've grown my hair.
Yes.
So what I've done is, so like the razor I used to use, I don't need to use it anymore, because now I go to the hairdressers. Yes. So I've got a friend of mine, he works around the corner, and he's converted it from like a razor to a taser. Okay. And I was asked, like, when we come from next session, or people have asked for it on your desk, some of your team members, if you're like in mid conversation and it slows down a bit, or you sort of your head nods, and it's not that powerful. So I've tried it, and just a little jab,
that'll do.
And it'll wake you up, and you can carry on.
Talking of getting ready in the morning, what's quite interesting, I've noticed, because sometimes they record this podcast for the video, and sometimes it's just a podcast, so to speak. There's no film, but just recently they have been filming it, and I know you're always quite concerned about appearances, etc. And
not anymore. I'm very happy with it.
Oh, really? There wasn't so much concern about.
I'm not really
your appearances. But what's interesting today, Paul, is, for the benefit of those people who aren't watching this on YouTube or whatever, is that Paul and I are both wearing blue, which is not normal for us. Normally we end up being quite different. You're a pink shirt, white shirt man. I'm a white shirt man, and today I'm wearing blue. Just
to reiterate, if anybody is only listening to this and not watching it, me and Stephen looking alike, it finishes with the blue shirt and blue tie. There's no other likeness at all.
No.
At all, nothing.
Nothing. No.
Sorry, no. I just wanted to...
2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, maybe.
Yeah, that's questionable.
I didn't talk about the body, torso, etc. No.
Okay.
Anyway, what was the other thing I was going to talk to you about today, Paul?
Well, no, there is something which, because I know that you're going to be talking about visas and a particular development.
No, I'm going to talk about something else as well.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So one question we're getting asked more and more now, which has happened before, it's happened every time the market's got busy, is that prices for off-plan property is more expensive than completed property. In some cases, some cases that is a concern. In a lot of cases, there's a few facts that people have to know.
Can I just stop you there? I mean, you've got the facts in your head, but there are some developers, and I'm not going to name names, better that we have a private conversation about who those developers are, who are selling off-plan properties for more than the market price for a comparable property. And it's for no other reason other than it's just they're trying to get away with it. Well, I'll just put that to one side.
Correct.
There are some developers who we consider to be way overpriced for what they're actually going to deliver.
100%. So let's clarify the difference. So if we see a new off-plan development which we really like, and then we get the prices and we say, wow, that's 20, 30, 40% more than what we thought it was going to be, we're obviously going to question that. Now, the thing I want to say, which people don't realise, is that if you're looking into a particular area, could be Business Bay, could be the marina, downtown, wherever. Now, if you look on Property Finder or Dubizzle or Bayou, and you see a completed 1 or 2 bed for X price, and then you look into it, it's 15, 20 years old, the building, and then you look at an off-plan property which is a similar size square footage, but it's going to be in a brand new building, and it's quite a bit more expensive. Now, there is a reason for that. First of all, that older building, if you was to go to that apartment and look at it, you probably wouldn't want to buy it. You know, when you walked into the lobby, you know, it was old, it was a bit smelly. The facilities aren't very good. People don't want to buy old in Dubai. Now, this is the important point I'm getting to. The new developments, which the good developers, the ones we want to work with, what they're building now is of such a higher standard with, you know, better engineering, better materials, better technology, a better finish, definitely much better facilities. So the reason you're paying more for that off-plan property, if that's with a good respected developer who you know are going to deliver, that is actually worth every penny, because on completion it's actually going to be considerably worth considerably more than what you're paying. But that building is going to, your apartment and that building is going to be amazing. You're going to walk in and go, wow. You look at the older buildings, which are much cheaper, and you walk in and you go, now I know why this is this price. That's just one thing which I think people...
There are exceptions to some of the older buildings are very good.
There is some
very well
buildings.
maintained.
The Greens. I live there, so I said that. It's 20 years old, the Greens, and it's an Emaar development. So I think it's one of the few older developments that I'd actually live in.
There's some properties in the marina as well. There's not very many, but there's a couple I can think of which are very well maintained, and they are the Emaar and possibly the Select buildings as well. So the good developers. Just on that point of developers, I get asked a lot. Give me your list of your top 5 developers. And I'm going to change that now. And I'm going to say I've got 5 or 6 developers that I don't work with at all. And again, we'll take it offline, this conversation, because we can't talk about specifics. But there are probably 5 or 6, 7 developers that we just won't deal with for various reasons. You know, late delivery, overpricing, bad payment plans,
bad quality,
bad customer service, etc. There are probably, but you know, we can't tell you. Well, we could give you obviously the main developers that we do deal with, but there are some very small developers, boutique developers they call, who are also really good and shouldn't be ignored. And you can't just say, oh well, we're not going to deal with them because they're small. Some of them are doing some fantastic work, and you know. Look, Ellington started small. They started with one building, and it took them 2 years to deliver it, and then they started building other properties. Now, would you have dealt with Ellington at the beginning? I happen to, but a lot of people didn't because they didn't know who they were. So, you know, we have to look at all the aspects of each developer and select those. I just want to put that one in there. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, it's, you know, private developers, they build up a reputation over time. You know, we've got our favoured ones. Everyone knows that we like dealing with, particularly with Select and Ellington. Mm-hmm. There's other big private developers that we'd prefer not to, but we still would. But this all goes back to, you know, it's what we'd like to think is that when we're speaking to our investors, particularly who say, you know, I've got $1 million, I've got $10 million, I've got 500,000 dirhams, you know, whatever their budget is that whatever we are recommending to them, unlike, unfortunately, a lot of other brokers who would literally offer anything, a lot of the times they'll be offering what gets the most commission. Anything we offer, which won't be a lot because there isn't a lot of really good outstanding projects out there. If I send you 3 options, Stephen, you want to buy something, I can categorically say there are 3 good options. They're for you to choose what you prefer out of those 3 good options. It could be the payment plan, it could be the location, it could be the developer, it could be the finish, it could be the facilities.
Delivery date.
But they're all good.
Yes.
And so in terms of your investment strategy, they're all good, but I like those 2. Right, let's look at those 2 a bit more. Right, that's the one I want. Right, I want a 1-bed, 2-bed, I want it facing this. That's what we go for. So I'd like to think that, you know, the people we deal with, where they've looked into House and us as an investment team, we've done that research and due diligence at the beginning so they don't have to. So what we're selling, we know that, or to the best of our belief, what we're selling, we know on handover that's going to be a really good product. 100%. And that makes a big difference to a lot of the way some people work in Dubai.
Yes. One of the things you mentioned there is payment plans. That's something that's changed quite a lot over the last probably a year, 2 years now.
Definitely 2 years. Yeah.
What's just give them some idea of the 2 or 3 people that are listening. Give them an idea of what's happening with payment plans recently and what your thoughts are on that.
Okay, so going back a couple of years, when the market was quiet, even more than 2 years now. So I'd say up until, particularly from 2015 to 2020. So it was quite a difficult market. There wasn't that many investors. You had some end users. But so for the developers to sell their own stock, they had to incentivize the buyer. One of the best ways to incentivize the buyer is by giving a really attractive payment plan. So for instance, a brilliant payment plan, which would be deemed as brilliant in any market, would be, say, a 25-75, so 25 during construction, 75 on completion, of which that 75% has got a 3 to 5 year post handover payment plan. That's an incredible payment plan, which you could get 3 or 4 years ago.
That's an extreme, but yes.
Another good payment plan, so like what we deem as a good payment plan today would be something like a 40-60 or a 50-50, hopefully with a post handover payment plan. Now we look at some of the developers, we look at your EMARs, DMAX, they're all doing it, but some, an EMAR now, if you buy EMAR, it's a 90-10.
Yeah, but it's construction linked mostly.
Construction linked,
whereas DMAC is not construction linked. It's more often than not, it's time based.
Right.
And that's something.
Yeah, actually, dates on the contract to say when you have to pay. Which could be more of an issue. My EMAR's different. An EMAR, arguably the only developer that will still sell out of their projects on such an aggressive payment plan because they have that name.
Yes,
a lot of developers wouldn't.
No.
So to us, if you can buy if you're happy, if you're really pleased with what you're buying and you've got a good payment plan, that's a big bonus now for your cash flow for maybe wanting to invest in something else, maybe seeing an opportunity in a month's time where you think, I can commit to that because not all my money's tied up into this other project. So they're more and more important now, payment plans, particularly to investors, particularly people who want to buy more than one unit, which is obviously very common in Dubai.
Yes. There is a flip side to this, obviously, is that when you do have an aggressive payment plan, we call these 80-20, 90-10, 75-25, 70-30 payment plans. They're quite aggressive. Well, that's what we call them here. That's the market speak, so to speak. And the flip side of that is actually, it's if you've got the money and you've got the cash, and a lot of investors do have that, they can take advantage of it because they can pay those payment plans. They've got the money to do it. And then when the property comes for completion and the end user wants to buy in there with their mortgage, etc., then they're prepared to pay a significant premium to do that. The property value's gone up, but also the benefit. We've seen it a lot with townhouses and villas recently in Dubai, where an end user at the moment, he's paying rent or he's paying a mortgage. Unlike if he's got a job, it's unlikely he's got full cash full equity in his own property. It's very unlikely. They have got mortgages or they're renting, etc. So they don't have the kind of freed up cash to buy something on an 80-20 payment plan. But they will do that obviously when the property is finished and they're prepared to pay whatever it takes to buy that property to get into it. And that's where a lot of investors are making some very big uplift towards the end of the construction time. Would you agree with that? The only thing I say to investors, which to bear in mind now, EMAR, great example. So you want to buy in Dubai Creek Harbour, great product. Something, I think Creek Waters was their last launch. It was a 90-10 payment plan ready in 2027. So you're going to get, at the end of it, you're going to get a nice EMAR apartment with nice facilities on a nice EMAR community. What I just make my investors aware of is that anything can happen in the world, as we know. COVID's proven that. These different things completely outside of our control can happen. Now, if your personal circumstances change, or the circumstances of the world order change, EMAR or DMAC or whichever developer has got these, these 80-20s or these aggressive payment plans, they're not going to stop asking you for money. No,
they're not. So if you do have a problem, that is going to become a problem. Now, this is where I say, if you can buy these, Select's last development in Maritime City, Nautica, 40-60 payment plan, fantastic. Yeah. 2 times 20% with your 4% DLD, nothing more till completion.
Expo, 50-50.
50-50, 5-year post-handover payment plan. So that is manageable. So even like, for instance, with this last select development, if once you paid your 40%, your 44%, whatever happens to you, or you have some financial problems or whatever, that you haven't got this next payment coming up in 3 or 6 months, and that matters to a lot of people. So it might matter to their own, helping them sleep at night, but actually the way their investment strategy works is they want to spread their risk and invest into as many things as possible. That is obviously when the payment plan, this is simple maths. If it's an 80-20 payment plan, you can buy one property because you've got 80%. If it's a 40-60 payment plan, if it's a brilliant project, it's going to make a lot of money, you can buy 2 units.
Maybe sell one and pay for the other.
Exactly, or part of it.
Or part of it.
So yeah, very, very important, payment plans, and we will always have that discussion with our buyers and investors, because some are fully aware of it and some actually don't even think of it, which is surprising. But
there's one other thing I would add to payment plans is, I'm not sure that everybody knows this, but when the property comes for completion and there is a final payment to make, you can, whether you're a resident or a non-resident, get a mortgage to make that final payment. And the banks are basically clear off that final payment. So again, it goes back to knowing your market and understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we speak to a lot of UK Europeans. As a non-resident, they're very happy to lend to Europeans and people from the UK who've got their accounts, got their bank accounts, got their salary slips, 50%, very 60%, straightforward.
60%.
Up to 60 now, is it? Yeah. So that's it'll probably be 70% next year. No, it probably will be, because they're just making it easier for people to buy in Dubai and move here. And and then for resident, if you're an expat resident, UK, European, Canadian passport holder, if you're a resident in Dubai, you can get up to 80%. So lots of options.
Yes. I've got notes here, Paul.
Okay.
Visas. I went recently to a workshop by a company that we work with called Synergy. They do company formation, and they also help our clients get visas for property-related or investment-related visas.
They do everything, don't they? Business setup, visas, bank accounts.
Yeah. It was interesting. So a lot of things, I thought I knew everything about visas, etc. And in fact, it was, I learned a couple of things, and things are changing all the time.
For the better. And for the better. Today
we're talking in October 2023. I'm right there, aren't I? October 2023.
Yeah.
Next week it might change, but it's going to change for the better, if anything. But essentially, you can now get a 10-year golden visa, it's called. The benefits of which is that basically you are a resident here in Dubai. You're treated like a resident. You have Emirates ID. You can open up a bank account. You can buy a car. You can have a telephone contract. You can do all the things that residents do, but you don't even have to live here, believe it or not. And in fact, you don't even have to come here. You have to come here just for the visa process, but you don't actually have to come. There used to be a situation where for these visas, you had to come here at least every 6 months. With a golden visa, you don't even have to come here.
Do you have to come for a certain amount of time per year?
No, not anymore.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. There is some other visas, like the 2-year 750k visa, where you do have to come here every 6 months. But the 10-year golden visa, you don't even have to. You have to come here to get the visa, and you can get it on off-plan property during construction, as long as construction has reached at least 50% and 50% has been paid. And you only, and it's 2 million dirhams.
But this is the thing. So with off-plan,
yes,
it used to be, so the golden visa used to be you had to invest over 2 million dirhams and have title deed, so it had to be a completed property.
Yes.
Then they changed it to off-plan properties, but you had to invest it over 2 million. Now they've changed that again, where the retail price of the off-plan unit can be 2 million. As long as you've paid $1 million, you can apply for the golden visa. So this is literally just in the last 6 to 12 months, they've brought in new things which are once again making it easier. So that's just going to continue.
And one more thing, this is new as well, is that if you already have property or multiple properties where you believe the before it was the cost of those properties had to be in excess of 2 million. Now you can get a valuation done on the property, and if the value is more than 2 million, you can get a 10-year visa.
Wow.
That's something that's changed as well, which I think is great news for some of our previous clients. What else can I tell you that I learnt? The whole process, you have to be here to do it. Because it's the same way that we get our residence visas. While we're applying for any visa situation, we have to stay in the country. You can't leave the country.
Could be worse.
Yeah,
worse things to be doing.
Yeah, but it takes 2, maybe 3 weeks maximum. I did hear of a case that actually last night I was talking to someone, and they haven't even bought property. They're purely invested by putting a couple of million on deposit at a bank. They got their visa in 3 days.
Really?
Start to finish, 3 days.
Wow.
That's just incredible. But also you can sponsor your wife or your partner. Sorry, not your partner, but it has to be your wife or your husband, whichever way around you want to do it. You can sponsor all your kids as long as... no, in fact, I don't even think they have to be... You can't sponsor your daughter's husband or husband's wives, etc. You have to be immediate family.
The point that me and Stephen are both making is that the whole process of moving to Dubai to live, do business, raise your family, or just relax is becoming easier and easier, and will only continue to get easier over the next every year, basically, every few months even, I think.
And the other thing about visas, you're right, everything is coming easier. There are people here who can help you do all of this. So it's not like you even have to be concerned about, what do I do? What paperwork I need? You just speak to these companies. I mean, the Synergy charge you 5,000 dirhams, which is just over £1,000 to do everything for you. There's fees to the government, which are around £2,500, 11,000 dirhams, something like that. But and Synergy take around 5,000 in fees, which I think is a bargain, personally.
Yeah, when you think that's a few £1,000s, which if you're living in UK or Europe, if you're doing well, you'll be paying that in tax every month. It's not very much money.
No, it's not.
No.
And there's also a 2 year, if you spend 750,000, you'll get, but it has to be a completed property. You can get a 2-year visa. There are retirement visas, which
have you got one of them?
Not yet.
Oh.
But
do they ask you if you want one when you go into the visa shop?
No.
Don't they ask you?
No, not yet.
Well, they assume you've got one.
I guess so, yeah. They probably assume I've got a golden visa, actually.
Yeah. I mean, your bus pass doesn't work here. The one you've got from London.
I haven't got it yet.
Haven't you?
No. Oh. When do I get it in the UK?
75.
No, it's earlier than that, Paul.
But you haven't got
1975 or when you're 75.
I don't know if they do it on your actual age or how old you look.
Oh, okay.
I'll find that out.
Yeah, thank you.
We haven't got all the facts here today.
No. But anyway, visas, talk to us. We can
point you in the right direction.
Exactly. Now, what else do you want to talk about, Paul?
You wanted to talk about... I believe we're going to do this obviously been a bit about Dubai and prices and how cheap it actually is compared to the rest of the world, and is there going to be a slowdown and all these different things. But now I think, Stephen, you wanted to mention...
we should talk about a property.
Yes, a property, and there's a particular development you want to
There's a particular property that I have been looking at, and I know other people in the company have looked at. It was launched, I'm going to say, around 6 or 7 months ago. And it hasn't sold as fast as one would have expected. I don't know why that is. It's certainly not because there's anything wrong with it. It's by a very good developer called Shoba. They're renowned for their quality of workmanship. They are renowned for their delivery timings. And they tend to be, they used to be quite expensive, and now they're very much average prices now.
Yeah,
they used to be a little bit overpriced in our opinion.
Yeah, but these days, because their prices actually haven't gone up.
Yeah,
like other developers have with the rest of the market.
Exactly.
So they, in our opinion, like they were expensive a year or 18 months ago, and now we're actually, you know what?
Yeah.
This is good value now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a villa community, a gated villa community. villas are obviously flavour of the moment. People looking, ever since COVID, really, there was a big sort of movement to having your own space. So villas rather than apartments, although there are still some good apartments, of course. I'm not knocking apartments. But this is just 300 villas, 4, 5 and 6 bedrooms, large villas, 5,000 to 7,000 square feet built up. They've all got swimming pools. They've all got landscape gardens. They've all got very private gardens as well. The way that they've been designed is very private. I don't think there's any back-to-back villas that I've seen. What you've got is a lot of greenery. All the normal things like paddle tennis courts. You've even got a cricket pitch, beach volleyball. And talking about beach volleyball, there is actually a fake beach there.
Really?
A man-made beach with a clubhouse in the middle. It's got a lot of benefits to it. Now, the reason I think I've identified it, if you look at the equivalent, if there is an equivalent in somewhere like Ranches or Dubai Hills, we're talking about price per square foot, we're now paying around the 2,000 dirhams a square foot for a fairly average villa that hasn't been upgraded. Yes? That doesn't have a pool, doesn't have a landscaping. It's basically just...
And a lot of them are old.
Yeah, and they're old. These are brand new villas.
Which we can guarantee, because it's Shoba, because they sell their self on their quality, we can guarantee it will be an excellent finish. And, on handover, you will be pleased with what you walk into. 1,624
dirhams a square foot, average price.
So what's that put the price at?
So we got 4 bedrooms starting at just over 7.5 million.
So you could say in Emirates Living, for instance, meadows, lakes and springs, etc. It would be more the meadows and the lakes, but villas that size, I mean, you're talking 10 million plus, 12 million plus.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Ranches.
Yeah,
Sahil.
Ranches, yeah.
What's the Sahil now?
Well, Dubai Hills, double the price.
Yes. Yeah, got 5 bedrooms at just under 9 million and 6 bedrooms. There are very few of them, to be fair. And there's very few 6-bedroom villas anywhere in Dubai, to be honest. They're almost 11 million or 11 million plus, which is... it sounds a lot, but
it sounds a lot. Yeah, exactly. Comparatively speaking, the size of that villa and the quality and all going to be finished with the swimming pool, with everything on a nice gated community. In real terms,
5-bedroom Sidra is now 11 million, unmodified, with a small plot.
With a small plot, yeah.
No pool, sand. I don't know how big those are, the 5-bedroom Sidras. It's a long time since I've sold one, but I just think it's
we love Dubai Hills, by the way. It's just it's the number one master community in Dubai. So, but the point we're making is that you're paying for it.
Yes. And this is something which is going to be ready in a couple of years' time. Now, going back to payment plans, it's not a great payment plan. It's an 80-20. So that might be the reason why a lot of people haven't bought into it yet. The location is good. It's across the road from some of the Al Barari, so that's not. What's that gone up in price? People have said 5 times or something. Someone say?
Well, it's gone up a lot.
It's gone up a lot. Yes. So I just think that's it's one of those sort of developments that it's passed people by, and I don't know that Shoba salespeople are doing a great job on it. But I definitely would like to sell more. I've already sold a couple, but I'd like to sell some more. Yeah, I think I'm not embarrassed to say that I think it's one of the best villa developments in Dubai at the moment.
Yes, I think to summarise what Stephen's saying, it's not cheap, because it's not cheap, but for what you're getting, the property and the product you're getting in real terms, it's excellent value for what you're actually going to get compared to comparative properties, completed properties in Dubai.
Yeah, and it's got all the facilities and extras that any new development in Dubai has to have. The Jalal Gafs, the valley, and to an extent the Dubai Hills. It's got everything that sort of play for your families to enjoy the living environment. Yeah. Anyway, that is about as much as I've got to tell you about Shoba. What else? Is there anything else you want to talk about, Paul, today? Money? You want to talk about money? Getting money in and out of Dubai? No.
I'm not sure in what way we could discuss that.
So developers, what they're taking, they'll take cash. So there's some developers will take cash.
Yes, Dubai is very accommodating and accepting of different ways of payment.
Yes,
so
it's a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
yes.
Bank transfers, crypto, cash.
Yeah,
which is the convenience is quite incredible when you compare it if you were to buy a property in, say, London or anywhere in Europe, really.
They still do their due diligence and KYC, but
of course, yeah, but it's it's cash is just still accepted as it's not frowned upon. You've got obviously certain parts, certain governments, etc., want us to go to a complete digital currency. So, but the people with cash, traditional people who like dealing in cash, will continue to do that. And so, yeah, that's another reason why Dubai, if you're looking to move your cash, then it's a good place.
Very good. And I'm going to ask you one final question, because we're in October now. What are we away from Christmas? Probably less than a couple of months away, really now. What are your thoughts for the rest of the year? What are you getting me for Christmas? That's probably number one of my thoughts.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing a list.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got to check with a couple of people. I've got to check with your nurse.
Yes.
And that fella who does the soup for you. Yeah. See what flavours. I think that there's a lot going on in the world. There's things outside of anyone else's control. But I think generally speaking, if you look at Dubai, as I said, the market goes through periods of being extremely busy to relatively busy. I think there's a few more questions being asked at the moment, but if you're thinking of a generalisation, it's still extremely positive. But as I said, who knows what the future holds? It is a guess.
Mm-mm. I mean, to be fair as well, we talk to people who want to come and move here most of the time. So
every day.
Yeah, exactly. They're probably not as positive about where they're living at the moment, because they're looking to come here, and there are many reasons why they're doing that: safety, tax, opportunities for new businesses, etc., and relocating themselves, their business, their kids for schools, all the different reasons why. We hear quite negative things about the rest of the world. Everybody does, but certainly about those countries, and sort of those one-to-one conversations that we have with our clients.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting here a little bit smug about our lives. I was on the beach this morning walking.
Were you?
Yeah. I saw a couple of people from Haus there, actually. Yeah.
Did they see you?
Names. Yeah, they did. They said hello to me.
Did they?
They did, yeah.
Quickly? Were they?
No, they weren't.
Were they walking or running?
They were running
away.
No, in fact,
did you lie down?
Sorry?
Or did you walk? Was it exercise?
Yeah, I was exercising.
Was you?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Do you know that Salt on Kite Beach is open 24/7 now? That's a hamburger restaurant, for all those that don't know, is open 24/7 on the Kite Beach. You can have a burger now at 4:00 in the morning.
Really? And what different times have you been there?
Honestly, it's the first time I've eaten in Salt a couple of times. Only a couple.
Okay, that's great. So everyone make a note of that. Salt on Kite Beach is open 24/7. So should you not be able to sleep one night and it's 4 a.m. and you just feel this need to have a burger, drive down to Kite Beach and they will be open.
And then you can run the 3 kilometres to the Burj Al Arab and back again, and you'll lose whatever you ate.
Well, no, what you should do is you should do the run and then have the burger to finish.
Oh, really?
That's probably the mistake you've been.
Burger first.
That's why you get stitch. Because you eat and then you exercise, but then you're never going to be able to exercise if you haven't eaten. Oh yeah, you see what I mean? Because it's like what period of time do you go without eating?
Yes,
it's not unless you're, I don't know. Maybe if you've done it when, could you exercise when you sleep? No, okay. All right. That's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone. Sorry if we've been if we've gone on, or hopefully there's
a bit. Yeah.
Hopefully there's been some interest in there, some interesting facts. I genuinely am. I was shocked to see. To reiterate, cities in the world, price per square foot, Dubai stands at 173rd, which is mental. As I said, the top ones are Hong Kong, and your normal ones London, New York. It's 173. So anyone who's telling you that Dubai is too expensive, then just go on Google. That's all I would say. Thank you very much, Stephen.
No, thank you, Paul. Have a great day.
And yes, and speak to you soon. See you in the office.
Yeah, see you later.
Cheers.